Martha Young.
Yeah, that's me.
That's her. Getting money from Dad and Mom. As we get ready for this great dinner, 30th reunion here at Brodhead.
But you know, really, 17. I gotta get a fix.
No.
Yeah.
The big dining area here at the Red Colonel Inn, I guess it's
Hey, you
called.
know, in this town,
Yes.
it was.
Hi.
Hi. Nobody else is here, huh? I thought
Wrong class. Yours is in there.
Oh, they are.
Oh, we have more than one class
Did
here?
they
Yeah.
actually?
These are all the pictures of my classmates here to be pinned on. And here we have Brenda Gard. Give us a smile, Brenda.
No. Bill.
I'm not sure. And Bill St. John, along with Carol Hafen St. John.
Hi,
There we
Michael.
go.
Is it
Hi.
going now?
Am I going?
I'm out of here.
And Sandy Peterson, Jim Keelan, and Sandy's wife Elizabeth,
Hello. Hi.
the doctor.
You got your pictures on.
Yes.
Yeah, we all have to be humiliated.
I think yes.
No, you look better.
You dropped a couple of pounds. A little steak, a little sense of picture.
Oh, right. Oh, well, who hasn't? God. White hair.
Ah, Leanne West.
Where was your last?
What's your last name now? Luz. Uh-huh.
Now, he says.
Did you marry a Luz that I would have known?
Jim.
Jim Luz.
You know Jim?
Ah, very
Yeah, he's here tonight. You'll see him.
Is that right?
Over there, talking to Brenda.
Great. Uh-huh.
So you're gonna make free copies of this video so we can all
I suppose I could.
point and laugh at the next one.
We can really see you when you see our
I gotta back up or I'm not gonna. There we go.
This is great.
Yeah.
That's
You know, I brought some.
This is a neat camera.
that's a lot better than.
Oh yeah, did you see the screen on it?
Yeah, I've never seen one of these.
There we have
Hi, Mike,
Mr.
how are you?
Sandy Peterson.
I still look good. And,
Yes, you do.
stuff.
He still looks just about like he used to look. I recognized him all the way across the bar. So,
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Really, great.
Grayer, but not
Through here we have Bill Knight. I recognize him from a distance. Just your picture, Linda.
No, not a picture.
Oh yeah, well it's too late already.
Frisco, Texas, and now I'm in Northwest. I'm hearing all the old stories about Mike Gibson. Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi, Jim.
Carol, how are you?
You look terrific.
How are the kids?
Friday we went to the University of Wisconsin. Have our daughter.
They're doing tours.
Oh, are ya? Are ya? Is this like freshman tour?
She'll be a senior in high school.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have a summit for 7th grade.
Look really close quarters to get these pictures. I'll take your picture before I shake your hand.
You don't have to.
Sandra Erickson, how are you?
Fine.
Good to see you again. It's been a long time.
Oh yes.
I'm doing
30
fine.
years.
30 years, that's about it. I see somebody I know over here.
How are you?
I'm good. Joanne Boyle, you and I didn't really talk much together in high school, if I recall. But I'm fine. How are you? I'm trying to take pictures and do this at the same time.
All right. We're gonna kill it.
Yeah, I'll use it for blackmail on the next one.
Yeah.
Looks like Marshall Walters over
Take
here.
take your camera away.
For how long? I've been here, I've been teaching
It's kind of hard to get through here. Bill Knight.
Mike Gibson, my gosh.
How are you? It's good to see you.
Whoops, excuse me. I don't believe that that's really Mike Gibson. I don't know.
any of my relatives up in Plymouth? Yeah, right. That's what she was down here.
Yeah, and I was still thinking it was over.
Ours aren't so great, though. That's a problem.
Marsha,
I wouldn't have
how are
known
you?
you. I wouldn't have known
Is that right?
No.
I noticed you right when you came in. You look very good, and you look very much the same, so it was easy to recognize.
Unless you had your name on, I would
Is that right?
have known it. I see your mom's here.
Yeah, Mom and Dad both. My mom and Dad both.
Lay around on the couch and watch this. We get out of healthcare. We'll see what happens.
And do what?
She was talking about ticket taking at the
Ticket-taking.
Cinemark, you know.
Anything.
That's a shot. I mean, that would be a good shot.
It would be a message back to healthcare, wouldn't it? I'd rather do this than work in healthcare.
What are you doing?
I'm a trailing spouse now. I'm currently unemployed.
Doesn't feel too bad, does it?
No, actually, I
No,
think
I just hope he doesn't like it too much.
about
That's my
January,
worry,
February,
you know.
I think I'm going to think about
Ticket taking.
at the Cinemark.
Actually, talk with Mike about the internet. That might be more fun.
The internet's a great place.
Yes, I
Duh.
Ever.
Mike Gibson's here.
Yes.
I think that
God, the brain cells have been dying for the
covers
last.
up the cleft in your chin. That's
Yeah,
kind of
it covers up all the problems on my face too. So you know.
Kelly can. Oh, she has a taste.
Yeah. How are you?
I have a question for
Let me get your picture here. So we got Alan Kelly. And who's this with you?
My wife Diane.
Hi, Diane. Glad to meet you. My name's Michael Gibson.
Hi.
And this video just went to all the pieces. Oh well. Zoom in on the picture so we know who she is. Yes. Hello, Linda. There's that tongue. I see that.
Seems like she used to do that in high school too.
Is that right?
Enough of that video, Cam.
Yeah. I recognize somebody over here.
I moved a long ways away.
I forgot what her name is.
My name's Brodhead, and her last name is really weird.
Mary, you look just like you did before.
Oh, would you like to die? I'm on my picture naked.
Yes, you are, but you can look at yourself.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You don't see many into my house.
It'll cost you $99.95 for me not to give out your picture to the rest of the people.
Now I know why you weren't invited to the rest of them.
That's right. Well, I was invited.
Just kidding.
So
I know,
couldn't-
you never came.
Well, I couldn't make it.
Oh, sure. Excuses, excuses.
Well, the 25th I was planning on coming, but I changed jobs and, it just couldn't do it. So,
Well, you finally made it. You're here now.
I am here. That's true. This is the picture of the ladies.
We have more ladies coming in.
There's a lot more ladies here than there were men.
Yeah,
Wonder what that tells you. Hello, Brenda. Let me zoom in on this.
Girls are in really good shape when they fight.
Karen Kelly.
Down there,
And,
Kneel down.
You get to sit here then. Three more girls. I need three more up here in the chairs.
there's a small spot and a lot of people.
There's one more here. One more.
Sure, go ahead. You gotta get this little
One more in the chairs.
I love that, how he does that with his
One more in the chairs, girls.
Go for a show.
One more up here too. Otherwise, we're not going to get anybody. Why don't you come there because you're blocking stuff. You never look lovely. One more. How about one more on the knee?
This is a good show in itself.
That's because there were less decisions to make.
That's true.
How does my hair look? Oh, watch out.
I can't stand my
There we go.
I can't see you. You can't see me. I can't see you.
Trust me, I can see you. It's a problem.
Just make sure that your head is
You have the option of sitting. You're little. I don't want to.
Martha, will you turn a little bit slightly?
I'm going to hug Martha.
What did I say? I didn't say nothing. You didn't have to.
Okay, you have to hug me.
Not me. That was okay. I'll take it on 3.
Right after
You step on 2 inches and turn a little bit. Okay.
Wait, Michael. He's getting all the knees to the bro. Look at him.
I'll take another one. Okay.
Make sure you look at that camera, not this one.
Mine's sober.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Let's camp on.
1, 2, 3. Oh, beautiful.
He didn't say that for us.
Y'all didn't make it work that hard. You want to buy a straight one.
I'm sober. I haven't even had a drink. This is bullshit.
I want to say
Hi, Esther. How are you doing these days?
Get right in there.
Nothing to say. What are you doing these days? Work? At what? Dental assistant.
and she's mowing yards.
Better keep my mouth shut. It's really good to see you again.
Would you stop that?
No.
Here, I'm going to make you eat that camera.
Uh-oh. I already had dinner.
That's dessert.
Right. What's that? I'm
You
gonna
wave and you say hello. No, you say,
Hello.
go away, Michael.
I'll go.
Tell me that though.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Folks, if I could have your attention,
Mine.
just for a few minutes, we have some business to conduct. We do have class history and class will that we do want to read tonight. But first of all, I'd like to express our appreciation from the class to the folks that have put this on. And so for the organizing committee, if you would please stand so we can give you a lot of praise. Good job. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful time. Good meal. Thanks to the folks that did all of that. So we do understand that the pictures that were just taken will be available. If you'd like to get a copy of the picture, it's $2. Give your money to Martha, and then we'll be able to get all of that done. So if you'd like to have a copy of those pictures, then just make sure you do that before you leave tonight.
We're sending around the place.
We're sending around a placemat to sign up on, I guess. So, the other thing that we would like to do before we move on to some fun stuff is to take care of one other piece of business. We do have 3 members of our class who are no longer with us. And we'd like to have just a moment of silence as we remember those members of our class. Connie Helland, and Larry Lentz, and Mike Buchanan. So if we could just pause for a minute and remember them and their family. We would like to read the class history, so for those of you that are reminiscing, here we go back to the dark ages of 30 years ago. In September 1962, 76 freshmen arrived at Brodhead High School. Our class advisors were Miss Preston, Mrs. Cooper, Mr. Kyler, and Mr. Nalipinski. We chose Bruce Cowan as our class president. Doreen Guptill, Dolores Schreier, Luann Maitre, Carol Hafen, Kathy Lorch, and Sherry Rossman were selected as B-team cheerleaders. Our homecoming float, For Whom the Bell Tolls, won 3rd prize in the float contest. We were represented at the State Music Festival by Mike Gibson. Marcia Walters and Bruce Cowan received gold medals at the State Forensics Contest. Our sophomore year, Floyd Harding, Robert Harding, Larry Hansen, Brenda Gard, and Kathy Labar joined our class, making a total of 77. Our advisors were Miss Preston, Mrs. Cooper, Mr. Nalipinski, and Mr. Richards. Ken Markley was elected as class president. Carol Hafen and Sherry Rossman were selected B-team cheerleaders, and Brenda Gard was chosen as an A-team cheerleader. We won 2nd prize for our homecoming float, Kick the L Out of Argyle. Dennis Frainer played on the varsity basketball and football teams, and Lenny Speth was league champ in his weight class on the wrestling team. Jim Keeland, Mike Gibson, Kathy Lorch, and Karen Christensen attended the State Music Festival, and Mike Gibson received a gold medal at the State Forensics Contest. Our junior year, Ken Markley was again elected class president. Our advisors were Miss Preston, Mrs. Leopold, Mr. Dicken, Mr. Kind, and Mr. Kyler. Our float, Victory Will Be a Snap, received 2nd prize in the homecoming parade. Brenda Gard and Carol Hafen represented our class as A-team cheerleaders. Lenny Speth and Dennis Frainer played on the varsity football team. And Dennis Frainer, Bill Knight, Bill St. John, and Bruce Cowan played on the basketball team. Larry Hansen and Lenny Speth represented our class on the wrestling team. Alice Harrelson was selected as our Badgers Girls State delegate, and Dolores Schreier and Karen Christensen as alternates. The faculty chose Denny Frainer and Jim Keeland to attend Badger Boys State, with Bill St. John and Lee Stein as alternates. Denny Frainer, Lee Stein, and Alice Harrelson were selected by the faculty as members of the National Honor Society. On May 2nd, we held our prom with Paris in the Springtime as our theme. Carol Hafen was chosen to be our beautiful queen, and Lenny Speth reigning as king. Members of the court were Esther Krause, Luann Maitre, Karen Olson, Alice Harrelson, Bruce Cowan, Bill St. John, Ken Markley, and Jim Keeland. Kathy Lorch and Jim Keeland and Mike Gibson represented our class at State Music Festival, and Ken McCool and Marcia Walters received gold medals at the State Forensics Contest, while Sandy Peterson received a B. I want you to know, folks, that was the best grade I had in high school. Gerard Rasul Manata, Carolyn Ronneberg, and Elvira Borkowski joined our class our senior year. Our senior year, Jim Keelan was elected class president. Our advisors were Miss Preston, Miss Whitman, Mr. Madison, and Mr. Stasko. We finally won first place on our homecoming float. We'll sand victory by Gemini.
Yeah.
Our homecoming queen was Luann Maitre, and Bob Harding was the king. Members of the court were Esther Krause, Carl Brandenburg, Marcia Walters, and Lenny Speth. Carol Hafen and Brenda Gard were again chosen as our A-team cheerleaders. We chose Uncle Fred Flitz By as our class play under the direction of Miss Preston. In February, we held our snowball dance with Dolores Schreier and Ken Markley reigning as king and queen. Gary Price, Carol Hafen, Esther Krause, and Ron Moe were members of the court. Alice Harrelson was selected by the faculty to receive the DAR award, and Dolores Schreier received the Betty Crocker award. During Easter vacation, we took our class trip to Washington, D.C. Mike Gibson and Jim Keelan attended the State Music Festival, and Marcia Walters and Denny Frainer represented our class at State Forensics Contest. The following boys were honored for their participation in sports: Bruce Cowan, Keith Olson, Bill St. John in basketball, Carl Brandenburg, Bob Harding, Gary Price, and Lenny Speth in football, Sandy Peterson, Lenny Speth in wrestling, and Tom Edwards, Sandy Peterson, and Gary Price in track. Dennis Frainer is class valedictorian, and Mary Rice is class salutatorian. The class of 1966 wishes to leave the halls of Ivy with our thoughts of great times we've enjoyed for our last 4 years. We sincerely hope and wish good fortune to all of the classes that enter and all of the people that graduate in the future. And that was our class history back in 1966. Now we have the class poem, and for those of you that are remembering this, if anybody can remember what they did in
Put me
terms
down.
of the poem, anybody remember what they were in here? This will take you back, folks. Before you cite the class of '66 about to bid a fond farewell, something about each member of our class I would now like to tell. Our class had its follies, our class had its fun, and now you will meet each member of our class one by one. A flaming redhead in our class, Linda is a cheerful lass. A sensible girl with feet on the ground. Wherever Susie is, the boys are sure to be around. Elvira came to our school this year. To our class she lent gaiety and cheer. A person with a pleasing manner is Joanne Boyle. In a beauty salon, someday she'll toil. No. He likes fishing and spearing for carp. A certain junior girl thinks Carl's really sharp. Go ahead. Dig out of this hole. To her friend she's known as Chris. An outstanding personality has this young miss. A boy in our class we call Ranger Ron. Boy, does electricity turn him on. Bruce is a fellow witty and gay. He'll sure to give you a bargain from Uncle Ray.
What was that?
Remember Uncle Ray?
No.
Uncle Ray Lyons? Uncle Ray, yeah.
Bargain on what? All right, a mechanical member of our class is Brock. He'll tell you if your engine has a knock. On a cycle she does a tear. Linda and Neil make a good pair. Hunting and fishing are his sports. Tom's an individualist of sorts. I guess he is. Sandra is quite a gal. To everyone, she is sure a pal. At making cheese and playing golf, he does well, and with the girls, Denny does excel. I didn't write it. I think he wrote it. That's true. She let out a yell, she let out a cry. Brenda cheered her best for Brodhead High. 3 boys who will sell hamburgers you will like. That's Larry, John, and Mike. Trombone and trumpet is their game. With them, Mike and Jim will go on to fame. Doreen's a girl with a twinkle in her eye, with a ring on her finger. Well, who's the lucky guy? Going to lacrosse, to major in Phi Ed, Carol and Lynn are sure to get ahead. Floyd rides his cycle fast as the breeze. For less wind resistant, he tucks his chin between his knees. Who wrote this? This is really good. For justice with no malice, always ask for Alice.
Is this the rough draft?
Connie Ray sets a swinging beat with his flying hands and flailing feet. Beauty culture is Donna's future field. Many benefits to others she will yield. Alan Journalin is quiet and shy. To everyone agrees he's a neat kind of guy. To all his friends, he's known as Baines. Alan has been known to raise a lot of cane. Karen is said to be a cute little dish. With a name like Kelly, she must be Irish. That's good. Bill Knight likes to golf and work in the shop. When it comes to sleeping in class, he ranks at the top. On many a boy, Esther has a crush. Maybe it's because of her alluring blush. Kathy LaBar can drive you crazy. Working at Jimmy, she's never lazy. Working at Century has become a tradition. To be a butcher is Larry's ambition. A social psychologist she will be. Kathy has charm galore, we all agree. Ken Markley is eager and prudent. Teachers agree he's our most trying student. A shorter member of our class is Ken McCool. He's a shark when it comes to playing pool. In basketball and GAA, she does excel. In most everything, Sandra will do well. 2 farmers from the word go, that's Harvey Miller and Ron Moe. A smile, a laugh, and a cheery way, Luann will make a good nurse someday. A pleasant girl we all adore, a friend to all is Darlene Moore. A friendly fellow is our Dave. About almost any girl, he'll rave. In the village of Albany, she found her guy. Karen spends her nights looking romantically at the sky. On his way to Monroe, he's always in a rush. That's because on a Monroe girl, Keith has a crush. In the town of... Go ahead. I didn't write it. Let's see. In the town of Judah, she found her boy. Cheryl's a girl full of bounce and joy. His father runs a store, which is very handy, for where there's food, there is sure to be sandy. Truer words were never spoken.
I didn't know this was a class prophecy.
A neat girl in the class is our Jean, toiling for Mrs. Lukey, she'll always be seen. Sophomores and juniors are in a mess because without Denny and Gary, they are priceless. Gerard comes from far away. Wherever he's found, it's bound to be gay. Mary has wit and charm galore as a classmate and friend.
Taking on a new meaning in
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
I guess. Mary has wit and charm, Mary Rice. Mary has wit and charm galore as a classmate and friend. Who could ask for more? Linda likes to sew and bake. A good housewife she will make. Poise and confidence for Carolyn are sure. Everyone in our class looks up to her. When she got her diamond with excitement, Sherry did squirm. The lucky fellow's name is Herm. Wherever Janet Roof is found, her shining knight is sure to be around. A mechanic in our class is Al. To everyone, he is a pal. Winner of Betty Crocker's pin for quite fond of sewing and baking. In future life, Sue is sure to be a hit, definitely because of her charm and wit. All through high school, John got his kicks. With his junior girlfriend, many a fight he picks. Plenty over our prom did rain. He worked hard at wrestling and never did complain. Two lasses in our class are very fair. Shirley and Judy are always seen in a pair. Lee Stein wanted to learn French since he was young, and now he gets a point across with a strong French tongue. It's like Letterman's top 10. Robert is the name his parents did will, but he's better known to all of us as Bill. Whipping through town in her big white car, wherever Luann is found, the boys will not be far. Russ drives his motorcycle at breakneck speed, an adventurous life he is sure to lead. On the annual, Marcia did work, never her duty did she shirk. Chasing younger boys is Mary's game. Kirk is the boy with the magic name. Do we remember that, Mary? She thinks one guy is the best. The girl with the diamond is Leanne West. At Dolly's restaurant, Martha can be seen as a waitress. She's really keen. Now that you've met each one of us, it's time to bid adieu. To all of those who have helped along the way, we give a hearty thank you. Brodhead High School will always remain, but without the class of '66, the hallowed halls will never be the same.
Sure.
We will ask for volunteers. We have one bit of business to do.
Prizes.
And then we have prizes.
Well, sure.
We have prizes. We have a bit of business. We have a 35th class reunion.
Next year.
Who's that next year?
Yes.
Not for 5 more years.
And we need to have some volunteers of people who would like to be involved in the 35th class reunion plan. Volunteers. First. Volunteers. Come on, come on. Come on, you guys. Yes, John Hicks. There we go. 1.
There's the first.
2, Larry Hansen. Oh my goodness. There we go. That's 2. Come on, 2 more. 3 more. How about Linda Erlenwine?
Linda Erlenwine.
Linda.
You guys can set a date with me.
Where's Linda? Who else?
You talking to me?
Come on. Couple more.
What year was that?
Okay. That's 3. 1 more. Martha, John, Larry. 1 more. Come on, Linda. Say yes.
Linda, say yes.
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 Yes. Okay, we have 4. We need a tiebreaker. Leanne. We have 5. Okay.
Spit it out.
All right. Thank you very much for volunteering. That's good. Love to see it. Las Vegas next time, John.
Yeah.
All right.
That works.
Grand Bahamas.
Grand Bahamas, Cayman.
I mean, if you're gonna put it out of reach, you might as well go whole hog. I mean,
All right, we have some prizes, and so after we do that, please feel free to mill around and do a lot of stuff and whatever. So, are we ready with the prizes?
I don't know where that came from.
Sandy?
It's between you and Lee Stein, I think.
I got kicked out of lot.
Tim got kicked out. We count all that.
Now Lipinski kicked me out of the lot.
Were you guys in Madison and the closet?
How do you keep
Back. Linda Reamer.
Like 4 days after we set them up.
That's all right, I lost it. All right. The person with the youngest child. Bill Knight.
Way to go, Bill.
Condominiums.
I'll just give it to my wife.
What did you get? Candy?
My favorite.
Hey, this is good.
My 8-year-old.
Teddy.
And there's a few other things in there, Bill. You want to see these other things, Bill? Look at these other things in here.
Never have figured them out.
What do we have in here?
Yeah, Bill, they're not balloons either.
This is something interesting in here.
I'll give those to the 8-year-old.
Oh, they're glow in the dark.
Please stand up and show me.
Well, no, you can hold them.
No, I'm not holding it.
There's something else in there.
No, we're not
Video
bothering
corner, okay.
you. The last people to respond. Linda Bonnicher. And
Karen was after me.
Actually, I'm doing better.
well, something to get you going here. There you go.
I admit it.
Okay. The furthest distance, the folks that came the furthest away. Janet Roof. There you go. This is cow paper here. And Mike Gibson from California. There we go.
Thank you. I'll have to open it in a minute.
Want me to take your picture, Mike?
No, that's all right. I got it.
Okay, all right, this is good, this is good. All right, this is an audience participation. Those who have moved the most in the last 30 years. Okay? So if you've moved more than 5 times in 30 years, raise your hand. Ooh, look at this. More than 5 times in 30 years. More than 7 times in 30 years. You count.
You got a hand up behind you all the time, too.
7 times in 30 years. Okay. More than 10 times in 30 years. More than 10 times in 30 years. More than 11 times in 30 years. 12. 13. 14. 15.
I don't know. Let me.
16.
15.
I'm at 17.
You're at 17 times.
I'd have to get down and count it. It's been a lot.
All right. Then we'll
Give
go
it
with
to
Chet.
him.
Chester Wilson. 17 times 30 years.
Yeah, remember, I drove truck for Turkey.
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
It's always going to grow taller.
30 years, ladies and gentlemen, the most grandchildren. Not children, the most grandchildren. Apparently all of these folks have 3. Larry Hansen.
In case you didn't know, Larry.
Shirley Springstead, where are you? Shirley, there you go, here you go. Right down there. And Chester Wilson. Yeah, this would be good. Is there anyone in the class who has never had to wear glasses? Alan Schneider.
Whoa.
Al, you do too. Al, you do too. You do too. One to one. You do too.
Safety glasses.
No, you do too. Liar. You bet it
And the first one to arrive here tonight, Sherry Ross.
Thank you. Sherry.
Audience participation. This goes to the person here tonight who has changed the most. Okay? So we're voting. So
A woman and a man. A girl
a woman and a man. So who's changed the most?
Mike Gibson.
Mike Gibson. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And the woman who has changed the most. This is a beautiful bottle of wine, ladies and gentlemen. The woman who has changed the most. Let's
Should
see.
be on the shopping channel, Sandy.
Come on, ladies.
Donna Ray.
Donna's changed.
Donna.
Donna's changed.
Donna's changed the
Linda's
most.
changed. See, come on. A little audience participation here. I'm not walking out on this limb myself.
Donna.
Donna?
I don't
You don't drink?
candy and it would be a waste.
That would be a waste.
It would be a waste.
Okay, well,
Second one.
then who has, well, then let's change it. Who has changed the least?
Sandy Peterson.
I got a woman, though.
He's not. I agree to that.
Who's changed the least as a woman? Carol? Karen Kelly?
Marsha.
Marsha?
Marsha, where are you?
Right there she is.
Kevin Cronin. There you go. Good job. Marsha Walton.
Surprise.
But be nice. But be nice.
Help me out here. What do we want? We have one more bottle of wine to give away. What do we want to give away?
How many has the most children?
Give it away to the committee that's gonna deal with this next one.
The most generous. Most children.
Most children and grandchildren. How's that?
Married the longest.
Married the longest? Sure. Married the longest is good.
The longest works, huh?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Who's been married 30 years?
I've been married 29.
29? 30?
What are you patting me on the back for? She's got to put up with me.
Oh, now, Jim.
By the way, we do have another instructor who has come tonight. Mr. Keene, we're glad to see you. The class of 1966 has been having a very good time here tonight. All right, anything else?
How many are wearing your class ring tonight?
Esther is. 1, 2.
Mine's in Arizona.
All right, you guys take a centerpiece out of the box. Where's your
Oh, me too.
That's a oh, I know where it is. I gave mine to Sarah. I'm glad you said that. Which was 13. Oh, yeah. Ours for Michelle. Yeah. Because I looked and I thought, oh, I can remember your daughter's name, and then it came to me, and I thought I better ask, because it might be Angie. I forgot what, yeah.
In other words, tell me. Oh, sorry. Just keep on going.
We would like to thank you for coming. The stuff that's being passed out now is the information about the folks who have responded and what their vital family information is, address, all that kind of stuff, so that you can find out where folks are. And we also have up on the table old class pictures, photos, those kinds of things. And also on the table is are some pictures of the 8th grade class and some other kinds of things that you might want to take a look at. Again, we'd like to thank the committee for this year for doing such a great job. This has been a wonderful 30th class reunion. Committee, thanks. You did a good job. Enjoy yourself for the rest of the evening.
Do you have to give you one? Yeah.
They don't have that. They just have my
Oh, you have to give her the address. Let's see.
So that's the So then, yeah, you're right.